if I told you that half of the world's population will go through a transformation so radical that it will change their lives? It can leave them unrecognizable even to themselves, but it can also unleash potential they never knew they had. At 24, I thought I had my life all figured out. I was starting a career that I loved, met the right man, and fell in love. After a few years dating, we talked and we decided he would propose. And he did. He stood on one knee in front of Buckingham Palace. Wow. We had a beautiful wedding, and soon after, I got pregnant. So at that point, I was ticking every box on my life's plan, every single one of them. But at the 8th week of pregnancy, and during a routine ultrasound, those words came. We can't find your baby's heartbeat. We had a pregnancy loss. 3 months after, I got pregnant again. Yeah. I was so excited because I was absolutely sure this time everything would be okay. But it didn't. History repeated itself. Again, in the 8th week, those same words. We can't find your baby's heartbeat. My world collapsed. I've been an athlete for as long as I can remember. You think of a sport, I've probably done it. And yet, I was powerless to stop my body from losing those 2 babies. At the 3rd attempt, life won, and my beautiful daughter, Maria, was born. She's a cutie, isn't she? Yeah, like her mother. Okay. But the sentence that marked me the most came while I was still lying in the hospital bed, recovering from childbirth. The doctor looked at me and said, "You really need to start thinking about baby number 2. The world is unfair to women, and women have an expiration date." I was only 33. So, imagine a living creature that halfway through its life undergoes a single biological event so powerful that it completely changes how its body works. Its temperature, its brain, its body composition, its energy, everything gets a new set of rules. In nature, we call this a miracle. But when that same thing happens to half of the world's population, we don't call it a miracle. We treat it as a decline, whispered. We call it the change. And that change is the most misunderstood biological event on Earth: menopause. And if you're a man in the audience thinking, okay, this is a good time to check my social media, don't. Stay with me, because this concerns you too. Because if you have a mother, a wife, a sister, a daughter, you will want to know this. You are a part of this ecosystem, This is not a woman's issue. This is a human evolution story. Especially after 40, society tells women they have an expiration date and that the clock is ticking against them. Well, you have been lied to. So here's everything you should know about menopause in 30 seconds. It's a hormonal shift that happens in your early 40s, sometimes in your 30s, way before your period stops. It comes with over 80 symptoms that can be physical, cognitive, and emotional, and not only impact the quality of your life, but also increase the risk of heart diseases, osteoporosis, and even dementia. It can affect your brain, your heart, your bones, your sleep, your confidence, and even your sex life. And no one wants that. How many of you feel something like that? Thank you. By the year 2030, there will be 1.2 billion women worldwide in menopause. So you are not alone. If a woman reaches the age of 50, she can expect to live another 30 to 40 years. So half of a woman's life will be spent in a post-menopausal state. Half of a woman's life. As an athlete and as a clinical exercise physiologist, yeah, that's a hard word to say. I've spent my entire life studying the human body, this extraordinary biological machine. But my true understanding of this machine didn't come from a textbook. It came from a single year in my life that felt like a glitch in the matrix. After those two traumatic losses at the beginning of my story, 5 years ago, I was entering my 40s. At an age where women are told they are starting to fade, I was at the top of my game. During the COVID lockdown, I got pregnant again with my second child, João. I already had a beautiful 7-year-old daughter, a husband who actually likes me, and I was doing something professionally that I was in love with. Again, the top of my game. Do you know what doctors call a pregnancy after only 35? A geriatric pregnancy. Like in an old pregnancy. Yeah. At 40, I felt anything but old. My body was pulsing with the magic of growing a human being. But at that same time, I was watching a woman very close to me, going through the polar opposite. She was struggling, waking up drenched in sweat, losing words mid-sentence, feeling a brain fog she couldn't explain, feeling like her body was failing her and that she was reaching the end of the line. She was entering perimenopause in a hard way. It was the ultimate paradox. One woman at the peak of fertility and the other one entering the winter of her reproductive life. But here's the part that changed my entire perspective and the way I looked at the human body. That woman was my twin sister. Same DNA, same age, both athletes. Two completely different biological expressions. In that moment, I realized that we have fundamentally misunderstood what happens to us after 40. Her body wasn't failing her. Her body was changing its investment strategy. You know, for the first half of life, the female body is optimized for others, for nurturing, for care, and for creation. But after 40, the focus shifts, and the body begins optimizing for the woman herself. But this biological upgrade requires a new set of rules. You cannot navigate your 40s and your 50s using the same map you use in your 20s. They tell women, slow down, be careful, just do some light yoga. Well, science says the opposite. Because your hormonal safety net is gone, your new investment strategy depends on 4 simple, non-negotiable pillars. Nutrition. You are no longer eating for growth. You're eating for longevity. Eat your protein, nutrients, over calories as much as you can. Prioritize nutrition. Sleep. When you sleep, it's the only time that your brain can clear out all of that metabolic waste that causes that brain fog. Think of 7 to 9 hours as your neurological insurance policy. Stress. When your stress levels are chronically high, it triggers the release of cortisol that has a negative impact on your overall health. Ground yourself. Go for a walk. Listen to your music. Listen to your favorite TED Talk. Breathe. Learn to be at peace with yourself. And exercise. I won't sugarcoat it. Once you pass menopause, you are 5 times more likely to die after a bone fracture than from breast cancer. We need to preserve our bone mass and our muscle mass. And for that, we need resistance, we need impact, we need to lift heavy. If the weight doesn't challenge you, it does not change you. Don't exercise to burn calories or to lose the body you have. Exercise to gain the body that will carry you with dignity and cognitive clarity until you are 90. DNA can set the timing, but intentional self-care redefines how women age and lead. To the man, be witnesses. That woman beside you is recalibrating and becoming a better version of herself than the one you met decades ago. And to the women, own your future. You're going to find yourself capable of doing things you never even knew you wanted. Like standing on this incredible stage and saying to the world that the only thing that is expired, it's this outdated narrative. So my question is, how do you want to spend those last 40 years? Do you want to spend them expiring or evolving? Thank you.